4 disagree questions. What should you do before you go into the answers? Actually, when you're in the answers, you want to separate the analysis. Before you go into the answers, you want to predict how they disagree, to the extent you can. Did anyone do that here? Okay. Katie, what did you predict?
I just know that, well, I saw that they were both talking about, like, portraits, and I was
They were
like,
both talking about portraits, right? That's significant. Carolyn says, to be a portrait, something must bear recognizable resemblance to its subject. Implication, it doesn't. Therefore, it's not a portrait, right? And Arnold says, a conceptual portrait. Oh, this portrait is a maximally realistic portrait. It is a portrait. So if you saw this, great. That makes the answer choice E a lot easier. I suspect some of us did not. Which ones were we debating? C and A? Okay, let's talk about them. Answer choice A should be considered to be art. Now, if you're stuck, right, you separate the analysis. Does Caroline say whether or not it should be art? She doesn't talk about art at all. She's talking about whether or not it should be a portrait. You could say, yeah, I think it's art, it's just not a portrait. So because Caroline doesn't say anything about art in that sense, A is wrong. Same with Arnold. Arnold never talks about art generally. Arnold just talks about portraits, which is a subset of art.
I was tempted because I was thinking of portrait in forms of art. Like,
Yes, a portrait is a type of art.
Right.
But if you say something's not a portrait, you're not necessarily saying it's not art.
Right.
Yeah. You'd be like, yeah, it's sculpture. Yeah, it's DNA stuff. New kind of art. Okay, answer choice C. What does Carolyn think about answer choice C? Bears a recognizable resemblance to Sulston. And she thinks it does not, right?
Right.
Yeah, so this is disagree. So for this answer choice to be correct, what must be true?
That's the thing it does.
Yes, Arnold would have to think it does bear a recognizable resemblance to Sulston. Does Arnold say that it bears a recognizable resemblance to Sulston?
Almost.
Almost. It says it's a portrait. It's a realistic portrait. Does it bear recognizable resemblance? I don't know. Question mark. So we have disagree and question mark. Now let's go to answer choice E. It is actually a portrait of Sulston. To be a portrait, it must do this thing. It doesn't do this thing, so Carolyn disagrees. Arnold says, this conceptual portrait is a maximally realistic portrait. Is it a portrait? Yes, it's a maximally realistic one. No one ever uses the word maximally like the LSAT does. It's lame. Are we okay with this? We have clear evidence for an agree and a disagree with E, but with answer choice C, it's a little unclear what Arnold thinks about answer choice C. So it's wrong. That's where separating the analysis can come into play. Are we cool with that? Okay.